Hello folks, I'm going to use that dinosaur over there as a way to kind of indicate my mood when making the video. So you can see I'm much more placid than the last time. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. In case you didn't notice, in my last video and maybe a couple videos before that, I was kind of agitated. In my career doing this, I made a decision a long time ago not to hide that sort of thing. I'm saying this for a few reasons, and hopefully I'll get to them. The other day, someone sent me a video by one of these, I don't want to say his name, but one of these big-wig internet Buddhist guys. I just looked at his YouTube channel to see what kind of view counts he had in case I was wrong in saying that, but no, he's got 7 to 10 times. One of his videos has 110,000 views, and it's called The Quick Way to Reach Enlightenment. Okay, so that's what gets views. But the video this person sent me was one she wanted me to comment on, and it was one in which it's a kind of an interview. And this woman is asking the Zen guy what the world is like to him, what his state of mind is at the in normal life, and this guy is going on about how he lives in a constant state of awakening, and that he's kind of, I can't remember the words he uses, but he's kind of implying that every once in a while he can step out of the state of pure awakening to kind of answer the questions of plebes like her, very condescending, but she's just lapping it up. The first comment on the video somebody left is this guy is gonna, expletive deleted that woman right after this video is over. Which is exactly, before I even read that was exactly the vibe I got from the video. It was really, there was something going on there. I decided a long time ago not to be like that. And there's a reason for that, and the reason is because that's phony. Now, I know when I say it's phony, there are going to be people, I think if I was listening to me, I'd be like, well, how do you know it's phony? Maybe he really does live in a state of absolute enlightenment all the time. And so there's no way I can kind of prove this to you. And I hate to say take me at my word, but that's all I got. But I'm just going to explain it anyway, and this isn't proof. What happens in this sort of thing is, and this is very rough, there's a kind of a balancing act going on, and most of us are balanced way over to this side. We're way over to the sort of materialistic side of things, this sort of, seeped in the world and the ideas everybody else has about how things go, and you're kind of stuck in that. Then there's the sort of enlightened mind that this guy probably thinks he's dwelling in. And if you tip things to this balance, things are working, and that's what Zen is about. But what's happened to this, now I can't remember which hand I use because I'm looking in this thing and it doesn't give me a proper mirror image. Is it this one that I used? Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway, let's just forget the hands. If you tip all the way to the other side, you can feel very spiritual and high, and probably some people manage to stay there a while. But the problem is, that's just as unbalanced as the other way. It's just as unbalanced, and it doesn't really do anybody any good to sort of try to get there. So what you have is people who are kind of way unbalanced to the wrong side, to the so-called spiritual side of things, who come off this way. And then you've got the just phonies and actors, because you can kind of put it on as an act. The problem is, I think whenever I hear about a big scandal in the Buddhist world, it's almost always from one of these guys who's like so spiritual. It's never from the people who sort of always present themselves as sort of even, and they get mad sometimes, or they get a little flustered or whatever, and they kind of keep it like this. It's always from one of these guys who's way over here, and then maybe he can't stand it anymore and he flips the other way. The reason I decided to do this subject today is because I went out with my friend Piruz to go get some toilet paper. There is no toilet paper anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. That's what we discovered. I don't know if it's absolute none, but no place we went had it. And luckily I still have a few rolls, so I'm okay. But people are acting completely wacky. You know, I mean, there's no reason to hoard toilet paper. There just isn't. One of the shops we had, everything else was there. Hand sanitizer was gone. Hand sanitizer and toilet paper were gone. Everything else was just as it always is. This makes no sense at all. In a time like this, when the whole world is seeming to be going mad, it's going to affect you. And it affected me. And it's still affecting me as I speak. Maybe you can hear it in my voice. But that's okay. It don't feel like your practice is going wrong because you're freaking out somewhat over the current events. Like I said in my previous video, what I'm doing is not just taking time to sanitize my hands and to wash, my body, but also to wash my mind a little bit, which means I'm staying away from information. I'll check in a little bit on the news each day, but mostly just the headlines. And if the headlines don't look like they're going to tell me anything that I need to know, I'm not going to click on the links, whatever you call them. I'm not looking at Twitter. I'm looking at Facebook a little bit to keep my own page under wraps. There were some people who posted some responses to things I put on my Facebook page this morning that were, I didn't think, very good. They were helping to incite the panic and to fire people up, so I deleted them. I don't normally delete people's comments, but I will delete your comment if you're trying to point people to some hot information, because there's plenty of places they can get that. They don't need to get it from me. So there's no reason to go for that stuff. So I think it's just as important to keep your mind kind of clean and free from that sort of debris. And influenza means influence, right? So get that mind influenza out of your system as much as you're getting, your hands sanitized and keeping it off your hands and not touching your face and all that. I don't want to make any statements about the pandemic in particular. I think it was probably a huge mistake for it to be officially labeled a pandemic, because that made everybody crazy. And I think the media is being almost entirely irresponsible, like egregiously, horribly irresponsible, except for a very few outlets that are actually handling things sensibly. Most of them are out of control, and I think they are the most dangerous thing right now. They're probably potentially as dangerous or more dangerous than the virus itself. Not yet, but the kind of rhetoric they're doing and the kind of firing up they're working people into a lather, that's not good stuff. That is really not good stuff, and the level of irresponsibility is just astonishing, really astonishing. It's like these people have no sense at all of what the kind of chaos they're unleashing on the world. It's ridiculous. So please don't you be part of that, because we can all share things on social media these days. I'm trying my best not to be part of that. Please, you try not to be part of it too. That's what I ask from you. As much as you don't want to be a carrier of the disease influenza, don't be a carrier of the mental influenza either, that is really affecting a lot of people. And I'm not even going to mention that I have PayPal and Patreon links below that you can send me donations at, because that would be inappropriate. So I won't mention the Patreon and PayPal links this time. But please stay safe and stay sane. See you later. Bye.